Okay, for those of you who were just here, yeah, no, I'm not waiting. I'm doing it right now. Don't really care. Oh, hold on. Why is this being weird? Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. There we go. I'm not waiting. I'm just gonna do it right now. Doing the recap. Let's get into the schedule. Let's get into the league schedule. So we're gonna go over the scores. We're gonna go over the stat leaders, and then we're gonna advance week. We're gonna look at updated standings and what's the other thing? Weekly awards. Yeah, that's it. So, week 5 started off with Chicago losing 17-31 to the Washington Commanders. Next up was Jacksonville at Buffalo. Buffalo wound up on top 31-33 in a very close game. Next was Texans at Falcons. Houston wound up losing 24-41 to the Falcons. Falcons doing pretty good for themselves so far. Next was Titans at Colts. The away Titans ended up winning against the Colts 27-13. Panthers at Lions followed that. Carolina just barely loses by 1, 26-27 against Detroit. Next up was Giants at Dolphins. New York 21, Miami 48. I don't have to tell you who won. Saints at Patriots. Patriots got blown out 41-24 by the Saints. Ravens at Steelers followed that. Baltimore won a 1-point defensive struggle 11-10 against Pittsburgh. Bengals at Cardinals were next. Cincinnati ended up with 24, 17 Arizona. So Bengals went away winning with that one. Eagles at Rams was next. Philadelphia got 41. Rams got 17. Jets at Broncos followed that. 13-27 Denver victory. Chiefs at Vikings was next. 35-10 Chiefs victory. Cowboys at Niners was the one that followed that. It was a 22-10 Cowboy win to maintain their undefeated record. And to finish off the week, it was 41-7 victory for the Green Bay Packers against the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas. So yeah, one notable thing about the Vikings, it was Taylor Heineke's first start. And probably only start because his morale definitely went lower because of the loss. Let's look at the stats. Oh, stats and awards. Player stats. Let's go up to the NFL. Passing. Yardage leader so far is Patrick Mahomes with 2,100 passing yards. That's insane. Second place, Drew Lock with 1,742. Kirk Cousins in third with 1,706. Fourth place, Matthew Stafford with 1,689. And in fifth, Joe Burrow with 1,650. Total pass completions, Patrick Mahomes leads with 173. Total pass attempts, Drew Lock leads with 246. Touchdowns, Tua leads the league with 16. Second place, Desmond Ridder with 14. Third place is Mahomes with 13. And then tied for fourth place is Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott, both at 12. Interceptions, this is the most interceptions. So this is 32nd, 31st, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to call it first through fifth. Most interceptions so far is Trevor Lawrence with 16. Next up is Baker with 15th. And then tied for third place with most interceptions is Kenny Pickett, Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, and Geno Smith, all with 13. So pretty terrible. Starting quarterback with the best completion percentage is still Justin Fields at 72%, which is impressive. Second place is Patrick Mahomes at 71. Third place is a tie between Dak and Jalen Hurts, both at 70. And then, first, second, third, fourth. Yeah, tied for fifth is Justin Herbert and Kirk Cousins, both at 69%. Passer rating leader, which is Kirk Cousins somehow. Longest pass still belongs to Tua. I don't remember if that happened this week or not. It doesn't matter. And the most sacked quarterback is Kyler Murray, once again. Rushing yards. Rushing stats, really, just in general. Bell cow of the league so far, Derrick Henry with 141 carries. Next up is Bijan with 117. So that's pretty big disparity. Yards, Derrick Henry's got the most with 761 yards. Second place is Bijan Robinson with 738. Third place is Brian Robinson with 570. Fourth place is Damian Pierce with 505. And fifth place, DeAndre Swift with 488 yards. Best average yards per carry for a starting running back, or just a running back with at least 20 carries at this point. Anthony Richardson's got a 9.2 yards per carry with 40 carries. That's insane. But running backs with at least 15 carries, Bijan Robinson, 6.3. Touchdown leaders, Derrick Henry's in first with 8. Second place, Bijan Robinson with 6. Third place, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Brian Robinson, and Aaron Jones all tie with 5. Fumbles, Kyler Murray has the most, but as far as running backs go, Pacheco, who else has 2? Kyron Williams has 2. And that's it. That's all for running backs with 2 fumbles. Broken tackle leader, Derrick Henry with 38. Yards after contact leader, Derrick Henry with 333. Longest run so far is Breece Hall's 75-yard touchdown run. Receiving stats. The ball vacuum here is Travis Kelce in first place with 54. Second place is Dalton Schultz with 53. Third place is Keenan Allen with 49. Fourth place is Devontae Adams with 46. And fifth place is Trey McBride with 44. A lot of tight ends at the top of this list. Not something you normally see. Yardage leaders, Travis Kelce's in first with 687 yards. Devontae Adams is in second with 587. So a whole 100-yard difference. Keenan Allen is in third with 572. Fourth place, Jalen Waddle with 559. And fifth place, Dalton Schultz with 553. Average yards per reception leader on somebody with at least 10 catches, Calvin Ridley with 20.6. Receiving touchdown leaders, George Kittle's in first with 7. Second place is a tie between Drake London, Jamar Chase, Devontae Parker, Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley, Nico Collins, and Travis Kelce, all with 5. Leader in run after catch so far is Puka Nacua with 229 yards. Run after catch average leader so far with at least 10 catches is Saquon Barkley with 9.6. But for receivers, it's Allen Lazard with 8.5 because of a 75-yard reception. A single 75-yard touchdown reception. Jalen Waddle has the longest reception of the season so far at 87 yards from Tua. And the worst offensive lineman in the league so far goes to Paris Johnson, Josh Jones, and Jackson Carman, all who have allowed 10 sacks. Note how 2 of these guys are on the same team, which is embarrassing. Defensive stats. Once again, I say this every time. I know these are inaccurate. The game just completely deletes some players off of the stat sheet when it comes to the defensive thing. Maybe it's because there's like 1,000 players that would have to be on it if they didn't, but it's dumb. I know, but this isn't accurate, but we're going to go off of it. Tackle leaders so far this season. Ivan Pace is in first with 74. Second place, Landon Collins with 69. Nice. Tied for third place is Demario Davis and Jermaine Pratt, both with 63. And tied for fifth place is Juwan Bentley and Devine Diablo, both with 62. Tackle for loss leaders. Quinnen Williams is in first with 30. Micah Parsons is in second with 25. Third place, Aaron Donald with 23. Fourth place, Jeffrey Simmons with 18. And fifth place is a tie between Montez Sweat and Danielle Hunter, both with 16. Sacks, these numbers get outrageous. Micah Parsons, through 5 weeks, has 22.5 sacks. That's insane. Aaron Donald in second has 13.5 sacks. Third is Nick Bosa with 11.5. Fourth is Quinnen Williams with 10.5. And fifth is a tie between Montez Sweat and Joe Schobert, both with 10. Again, these are inaccurate. There are players missing from this. I'm sure that there's another player who's upwards of 15 already. Interception leaders. Marshawn Lattimore with 8 is leading the league. Second place, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, another Saint, with 5. And then tied for third is a bunch of guys at 4. Trayvon Diggs, Michael Carter, J.C. Horn, Trent McDuffie, Kobe Bryant, and Marcus Williams all have 4 interceptions. The pass deflection leader is Stephon Gilmore with 9. Forced fumbles. The leader for that is Patrick Surtain with 3. Fumble recoveries, no particular ball magnets, a lot of guys with 1. Still no block kicks all year. Still only 2 safeties so far this season, both belong to T.J. Watt. And defensive touchdowns, a bunch of guys with 2. Shaquille Griffin, Trayvon Diggs, Bobby McCain, DJ Reed, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Ramsey, and Michael Carter all have 2 touchdowns defensively. I don't believe anything notable happened in the return game this week. Touchdown return leaders, Kareem Cohen has 2 kick return touchdowns. Dwayne Eskridge has 1. Marcus Jones has 1. That's all in kick returns. There is yet to be a punt return touchdown still. Kicking-wise, a bunch of guys still perfect in field goals. Harrison Butker now owns the award for least accurate kicker at 57%. He is 4 of 7. Extra points, Deontay Williams Sr. is the only guy that's missed any extra points. Everyone else is 100%. Punting. Most punted yards is Riley Dixon with 1,758. Best punting average is Corey Bojorquez. Worst punting average is Yusuf Corker, but if we go to actual punters, it's Ty Long. Fewest punting yards, I guess I should look at that. Nick Folk, who's only punted 9 times so far. Net yards divided by punts. So net yards per punt. This is a good stat to have a high number in. Brian Anger has the most with 42.4. Fewest, Yusuf Corker. But if we go down to actual punters, it's Ty Long with 34.1. No punts have been blocked. How many punts down inside the 20? Thomas Morstead and Riley Dixon have both put 12 punts down inside the 20, which leads the league. Touchbacks, on the other hand, Corey Bojorquez has 7, which is the worst. Longest punt so far is still Corey Bojorquez's 69-yard kick. Nice. And that's about it for stats. So let's advance the week, and then we can look at the updated standings and the weekly awards. Now we force advance. All right. Let's go to the standings. So, across the NFL, there are 3 undefeated teams left. The Titans, Commanders, and Cowboys are all 5-0. Winless teams, there are 2 left. Cardinals and the Patriots, both 0-5. Best points for so far is the Dolphins, still at 200. Least points for is the Patriots at 76. Fewest points against is the Buccaneers at 62, best defense in the league right now. And the most points against is the Patriots, 192. Now, obviously, the Buccaneers had a bye, so they had one less game. So that's one less set of points scored, but it'll all even out by the end. Longest streak losing so far is obviously the Cardinals and Patriots. Longest streak winning so far is the Commanders, Cowboys, and Titans. All 3 are 5-0, and all these are 0-5. So that about sums that up. I'm not going to go into all that stuff. Let's see. Let's just go into the divisions. AFC North, led by the Ravens at 4-1. Steelers trailing behind them pretty bad, 2-3. And then the Browns are 1-3, and the Bengals are 1-4. So a lot of weak teams outside of the Ravens so far in the AFC North. AFC South, Titans 5-0. They're on top of the Colts, who are 3-2, who are being chased by the Texans at 2-3, and the Jaguars at 1-4. AFC East, Dolphins on top at 4-1. Bills right behind them at 3-2. Jets and Patriots both falling behind. Jets at 1-4. Patriots at 0-5. AFC West, Chiefs on top at 4-1. Broncos trailing behind them 2-2-1. Raiders behind them 1-3-1, and the Chargers are at 1-3. NFC North, Bears and the Packers are tied at the top at 3-2 apiece, both trying to break away. Lions trying to catch up at 2-3, and the Vikings falling behind at 1-4. NFC South, Buccaneers on top at 3-1. Falcons right there with them at 3-2. Saints trying to catch up, trying to keep up with them at 2-3. And the Panthers, once again, falling down at 1-4. Commanders and Cowboys, both 5-0, sitting atop the NFC East. The Eagles behind them are fighting to stay in contention at 3-2, and the Giants are starting to fall behind at 2-3. NFC West, Rams are on top with 4-1. 49ers are trying to keep up with them at 3-2. Seahawks right in it as well at 2-2, and the Cardinals are dead in the water right now at 0-5. So that's the standings. That's all. That's every team so far in the standings. Now let's go look at the weekly awards, and that should be it because there's no mock draft to look at. Weekly awards for this past week. Jake Haener won NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He was 23 of 34, 291 yards, 3 touchdowns. He got sacked 4 times, had 2 carries for 14 yards, and a rushing touchdown. NFC Defensive Player of the Week was Micah Parsons, who had 10 tackles and 8 sacks in one game. If that's not a record, I don't know what would be. Tua Tagovailoa won AFC Offensive Player of the Week. He was 28 of 43, 361 passing yards and 6 passing touchdowns. He was sacked twice. I don't know why that's a notable stat to put on here, but he was. And AFC Defensive Player of the Week was Devin Bush, who had 10 tackles, 1 pick, and it was a touchdown. So that is it for the awards. Obviously, we can't look at any yearly awards yet. That doesn't come till I think like week 12. But anyway, that's going to do it. So this next week is filled with a lot of fun matchups. Obviously, you got a divisional game, Denver at Kansas City, Baltimore at Tennessee. There's some rivalry there. Both teams are on top of their respective divisions. Baltimore at 4-1, Tennessee at 5-0. You got Washington and Atlanta trying to keep its undefeated streak alive. Minnesota at Chicago, a divisional matchup. Seattle at Cincinnati. That one's not that interesting, I'm not going to lie to you. Same with San Francisco at Cleveland. That one's also just another, We got to get through every game. New Orleans at Houston, see which team can rise back to 500. Indianapolis at Jacksonville, divisional game. Those are always fun. Carolina at Miami. That's another one that's probably not going to be all that fun. Detroit at Tampa. Both teams clawing to stay in contention in their division. Detroit only, I believe, a game behind the other two in their division. Tampa's on top of their division currently. New England at Las Vegas. You got to see if New England's going to keep losing. That's fun. Philly at New York. Honestly, the Jets are just fun to watch every time because they're always in it. Arizona, the Rams. Obviously, it's a divisional game, and again, you want to see if the Cardinals will keep on losing. Giants at Bills. New York matchup. See if the Giants can pull off an upset, and then Dallas at LA. You want to see if the Cowboys can maintain undefeated. Oh, I believe there's only 2 buys done this week, so I will get those figured out, and I will deal with them to start the next stream before I do Denver at Kansas City. But until then, that's going to be it for now. So if you watch this, if you only watch the recaps, that's fine, no big deal. But you should watch the games; they're fun. I have a good time doing them. I believe they're entertaining to watch, or even just to have on as like background something. And it's probably even better for that. But anyway, if you are watching this, you should like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe share it. Maybe not. That's fine if you don't. But anyway, I'll see y'all. For those who only watch the recaps, I'll see you after Week 6 is over. For those who watch every game, I'll see you when Denver meets Kansas City. So see y'all then.